Hello again, it's Lock Noob, and well, I've got two Gard locks here, and this one is a series 2217. This is the 2200, and what's really cool is that they are safe locks, and they've got these really cool, like tube-like keys. What's really cool about it is you can also almost tell how they work just by looking at the key. They have a rotational bitting, a bit like you would have on a disc detainer lock. Apart from the discs you're turning here are sort of the same sort of discs you'd find in a combination safe. You put the key in, give it a turn, and it retracts the bolt. So really super cool locks. I've taken the back off one of them here, and whilst you can't see an awful lot of what's happening, you can see some of it. So it's the same bitting on this lock, there we go, and you turn the key and you can see here the disc pack turning and then that drop arm dropping down once all these gates are aligned. So you can see that the gates are just there. Do that again and you can see how you can overturn it, turn it back. There you go. Cool, huh? So, oh, that's just shouldn't have done. That's just like the center pin. So I've actually seen one of the picks for these locks, and it's really interesting. Essentially, it's just a outer tube with an inner tube with a tip which is also a picking end, and the picking end is really just about as thick as one of these little prongs, which where's my calipers, you'll see are about 1.3-ish millimeters. That's what we need the picking tip to be like. So what we need to do is essentially make a picking tip out of this, maybe file it down so it's not quite so beveled, make a picking tip here, like that, then cut away all of this metal around here down this line, like that, so chop away all of that. Then you can see about 1 millimeter of metal here, and that's keeping the rest of this tip on, apart from this piece of metal here. But we need to remove that because as we're turning through the discs with the picking tip, listening to which one is binding, what we don't want to do is rotate all the discs back again once they've been picked. So we need to chop away this side too. And we probably need to do it down to about here, like that. So make a picking tip like that, cut all this away, which won't leave much metal at all, being held on by about 1 millimeter. So it's going to be bonded by about that much to the stem, but it will be bonded all the way round like this. So I'm hoping that that will be enough to hold that whole pick tip on. I don't think you need much pressure with these picks, but we'll see, won't we? So yeah, I'm going to grind this down and see if I can make a little pick out of this. Now this is a heck of a jump cut. You can tell by the fact I'm wearing plaster on my finger. It's actually been probably 2 months since I started this video off, and me getting around to grinding this tip down. But this is what we ended up with. Let me show you the original key. There you go. And this picking tip. I've marked it off a little bit here with some black marker to signify where the discs are. I could have ground some cuts in there, I guess, but it's honestly just easier sometimes just to go back to basics and just put a little black line with a felt tip on there. I mean, it's just easy, isn't it? I suppose that I could actually grind something into it to make it a bit more permanent, but yeah, that is my tip. So how does that work? Well, here is the normal key like this, and let's insert that into the lock again and show you. So it opens and closes. Very cool. Now this would probably be a lot easier if I had some kind of acoustic amplifier of some kind, like a stethoscope or otherwise, but I spent some time with this, and I think that you can do it by ear if you're lucky. So I'm just going to hold it in my hand like this, and I've got the picking tool. And what we're going to do is go inside like that, and you see that black mark I just put there? I've tried to align that here, so you can use that as a reference point when I'm turning this. Hopefully you'll see how much I'm turning it past. It's not a great reference point, but I'm hoping it should suffice for you. Okay, I'm on the it's not really the a wheel, it's the one which has the actuator on it. So I'm going to go to the first wheel, which is here, and what I do is don't have it straight like that, just move it down a little bit like that. And what we're doing there is, it seems to be that by doing that we're almost pushing the wheel onto the arm inside the lock. So let's have a, can you hear that? I've angled the microphone down a little bit so you can hear. And what I'm trying to do is find the one which makes the most noise, really. So we've got that one, this one, that's pretty nice too. This one, very quiet, and this one. And again, I'm using this marker here to let me know where to return it to, because if you don't return it to the right place, it's very hard to wiggle your pick past it. It's always good to keep it centered, so it's good to have that marking on there. So where are we? Here's some clicking there, but it's not as loud, so I'm going to go back to either that one or probably this one actually. And what we're going to listen to is, can you hear that noise? That's rubbing and then clicking. So there are false gates inside here. So we're listening to when it goes quiet, really, or quieter. Hear that? It's gone silent. So I'm going to leave it there. Okay, let's go back to the first wheel, because that was quite loud too. And no rubbing, and if you listen, and hear a little click there, which I think is the arm resting in the gate. So I'm going to leave it there. Okay. Okay, next one. Let's see which one's louder, number 2 or number 1. Okay, or number 1. I'm going to call it, it's number 2. About there, I think. Okay, we're going to leave it there then. Okay, next one. Yeah, see here it's a lot louder than when it's quite at the beginning of the video. Oh, come on you. You sort of feel in the pick it dragging as well. It's very subtle though at this point, I have to say. So it might be your best guess approach. Where are we? I'm on it. And feel something slipping off. About there-ish. Okay. Let's go through then. So disc 1 is all the way up there. Disc 2 is somewhere around here. Disc 3 is somewhere about there, and disc 4 is somewhere around there-ish, I think. Okay, so if we're right, then we should get an open like that. There we go. So it is possible. It needs a little practice, and you need to get very used to hearing and feeling what's going on. I'm not going to lie, I think me holding the lock in my hand certainly helps, because you feel something through the lock body as well. But it's also just easier to do when you're doing it in hand like that. I think that if it was in a clamp or something, I'd probably need to use a stethoscope to really just feel what's going on inside there. Okay, let's gut this and see what's going on. Oh, you can't turn it back, I don't think, either, because it isn't the right key. So we do need to actually gut it. I think you can remove the key though, somehow. Or not. Okay, well, either way, we can resolve that when we open it up. There we go. Very, very nice. Take that arm out, and you can see down inside there. Pretty nice. You can see how we're all locked up. This little spring here is actually like a relocker. There's a little notch there, and if this spring goes up, then that allows it to drop down into this position if the bolt is opened, and it will not open again. We can gut this relatively easily, I think, as well, just by doing this. So let's gut it, and we'll see what's going on inside there. As long as we're gentle with it, it shouldn't be too much of a bother either. So there's the pick tip, and you see it. Oh, sorry. There's the pick tip. You can see it going through all its positions. There we go, and then hopefully just wheel it back out. There we go, and we're through. Okay. So the idea was we got all the discs aligned. So spacer, disc, plastic spacer, disc, another plastic spacer, disc, plastic spacer, and final disc. There we go. So let's look at one of these discs. you can see how if you moved, and you can do this, there's a spring circlip there. If you undo that, you can move this disc around, which I do not want to do, and that will relocate that position there, which aligns with a cut in the key. So you see that there you go, it goes like that and then turns. So the shorter the cut, the less you have to turn the key before you engage with it, and the longer the cut, the more you have to turn the key before it engages. Very cool mechanism, and you can, like I said, change these to pretty much any key you want, as long as you have a spare key, which is really cool. But there you go, that's all the discs in this lovely lock. So which one was that? That was the that's the Gard 2270, but that will work equally well in any of these, like these 2200 series ones here. So there you go, that was my homemade Gard pick. Works really, really well. Does take a little getting used to in terms of hearing what's going on, especially because if you look on the top here, what you're hearing for is that rubbing as the drop arm, which you can see it's got those markings on, is rubbing against the top, and you hear little clicks as you hit between these false gates, but also no sound here at all, no rubbing when you're in the true gate. But you might hear tapping either side as you're just tapping against the drawers, then you go back over to the other side. So these false gates actually do quite a good job at confusing the feel as you're picking this, but there is enough sound and feel in there that you can do this by ear in a quiet room with a bit of practice, and you can hear that sound and then silence, then back up. Yeah, it's kind of subtle, but it's kind of fun. So there you go, hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll see you all next time.